Have you ever wondered what the world looks like through a horse's eyes? When you look at a pasture, you see green grass, trees, maybe a fence, but when a horse looks at that same scene, they're seeing something completely different, a world we can barely imagine. In today's video, we're going to step into the visual world of horses, how they see colors, why they react to things that seem harmless to us, and the surprising blind spots that exist right in front of their face. And at the end, I'll reveal one shocking fact about horse vision that will forever change how you approach and handle these animals. If you want to understand horses on a deeper level, hit that subscribe button and join Within Horses. Let's unlock the secrets of how horses truly see the world. Here's something most people don't realize. When you stand directly in front of a horse's face, looking right at them, they can't actually see you clearly. There's a blind spot, and when you walk up behind them without warning, you're literally invisible until the very last second. This is why horses spook at things that seem obvious to us. They're not being difficult, they're responding to a visual reality we don't share. Let me tell you about a rider named Tom. He'd been working with a mare named Willow for months. She was calm, well-trained, and responsive. But every time Tom tried to mount her from the left side, Willow would step away or pin her ears. He couldn't understand it. The saddle fit perfectly. There was no pain. What was the problem? The answer was in how Willow was seeing Tom's approach. And once Tom understood her visual world, everything changed. To understand what Willow was experiencing, we need to start with the basics of equine vision. Horses have the largest eyes of any land mammal. Each eye is about the size of a baseball, and they're positioned on the sides of the head, not the front like ours. This side placement gives horses an incredible field of view. Humans can see about 180 degrees in front of us. Horses can see nearly 350 degrees around them. That means they can see almost everything around their body without moving their head. They can watch what's happening behind them, to the sides, and in front all at the same time. This wide-angle vision was critical for their survival. In the wild, horses are prey animals. Predators could attack from any direction, so evolution gave them the ability to monitor their entire environment constantly. A horse grazing in a field isn't just eating, it's scanning for threats 360 degrees every single second. But this incredible panoramic vision comes with a trade-off. Horses have two significant blind spots. The first is directly in front of their face, from their forehead down to the ground, about 4 feet ahead. The second is directly behind them, from their tail extending back about 10 feet. Think about what this means practically. When you stand right in front of a horse's face and reach out to touch their nose, they can't see your hand clearly. They have to rely on their other senses, smell, hearing, and touch. When you walk up behind a horse without announcing yourself, you're completely invisible until you're almost touching them. This is why so many people get kicked. The horse isn't being aggressive, it's reacting to a sudden threat appearing out of nowhere. Understanding these blind spots is the first key to safer, more effective horsemanship. Now let's talk about color. For years, people believed horses were completely colorblind, seeing only in shades of gray. But research over the past few decades has proven that's not true. Horses do see color, just not the way we do. Studies from universities, including the University of California and Lund University in Sweden, have shown that horses have dichromatic vision. That means they have 2 types of color receptors in their eyes, compared to the 3 that humans have. Humans see the full spectrum: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Horses see a more limited range. They see blues and yellows very well, but reds and greens appear much duller, more like shades of brown or gray. Imagine looking at a red apple hanging from a green tree. To you, the apple stands out clearly against the leaves. To a horse, the apple and the leaves might look almost the same color, making it much harder to distinguish. This is why horses sometimes hesitate or spook at objects that seem perfectly obvious to us. They're not seeing the same contrast and detail. Here's another fascinating aspect of their vision. Horses have excellent night vision, far better than ours. Their eyes contain a special reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum. This layer acts like a mirror, reflecting light back through the retina and giving the photoreceptors a second chance to capture it. This is why horse eyes seem to glow when you shine a light on them in the dark. It's that reflective layer bouncing the light back. This enhanced night vision allowed wild horses to detect predators even in low light conditions. But it also means horses see movement and shadows very differently than we do. A plastic bag blowing in the wind might look like a fast-moving predator. A shadow shifting across the ground might register as something dangerous. What seems harmless to us can look genuinely threatening through their eyes. Horses also have a slower visual processing speed compared to humans. When they're moving quickly, especially at a gallop, they need more time to process what they're seeing. This is why jumping horses sometimes refuse at the last second. It's not stubbornness. They literally didn't have enough time to clearly see and evaluate the obstacle. Let's go back to Tom and Willow. Why was she reacting when he tried to mount from the left side? Tom was doing what most riders do. He would approach Willow from the side, standing near her shoulder, and prepare to mount. But here's what he didn't realize. From Willow's perspective, Tom was entering and leaving her blind spot repeatedly. As he moved closer to her shoulder, he'd disappear from her monocular vision on that side. Then, as he lifted his foot to the stirrup, his movements became unpredictable and harder for her to track. Horses rely heavily on being able to see what's happening around them. When something enters their blind spot, especially something large and moving, their instinct is to move away or prepare to defend themselves. Willow wasn't being difficult. She was reacting to Tom disappearing and reappearing in ways she couldn't visually track. Once I explained this to Tom, he changed his approach. Instead of standing directly at her shoulder, he positioned himself slightly more toward her hindquarters, where she could keep him in her field of view. He moved more slowly and deliberately, giving her time to process his movements. And most importantly, he started talking to her as he approached and mounted, so she could use her hearing to track him even when he moved into a blind spot. The change was immediate. Willow stopped pinning her ears. She stood calmly as Tom mounted. She wasn't fixed by training or correction. She was simply allowed to see and understand what was happening. That's the power of understanding equine vision. Here's another critical aspect of horse vision that most people overlook. Horses use two different types of vision depending on what they're looking at: monocular vision and binocular vision. Monocular vision means each eye is seeing independently. This is what horses use for that 350-degree panoramic view. The left eye sees one side, the right eye sees the other side, and the brain processes both images separately. This is incredibly effective for detecting motion and monitoring a large area, but it has a downside. Monocular vision doesn't provide depth perception. The horse can see that something is there, but it's harder to judge exactly how far away it is. Binocular vision is when both eyes focus on the same object at the same time, creating a three-dimensional image with depth perception. Humans use binocular vision almost constantly. Horses only use it in a narrow zone, about 60 to 70 degrees directly in front of them. This is the area where their visual fields overlap. When a horse lowers its head and looks directly at something, it's switching to binocular vision to get a clearer, more detailed view with accurate depth perception. This is why horses often stop and lower their heads when approaching something new or uncertain. They're not being cautious for no reason. They're literally changing their viewing mode to get a better look. If you rush a horse past something without giving it time to use its binocular vision, you're asking it to move towards something it can't clearly see or judge. That's a recipe for spooking. Understanding this also explains why horses sometimes react differently to the same object depending on which eye saw it first. Because each eye feeds information to the opposite side of the brain, and because horses process left eye and right eye information somewhat independently, an object seen with the left eye might not be immediately recognized when seen with the right eye. This is why trainers often work horses from both sides and expose them to new objects from multiple angles. It's not just about general desensitization, it's about making sure both eyes and both sides of the brain have processed and accepted the experience. Now here's the secret I promised at the beginning. The one fact about horse vision that changes everything. Horses don't see the world as a single, unified image the way we do. They see it as two separate, overlapping streams of information. Their brain is constantly monitoring two semi-independent visual feeds, switching between monocular and binocular vision, adjusting for blind spots and processing motion, color, and depth all at different speeds. This means that every time you interact with a horse, you need to think about which part of its visual system is engaged. Are you in a blind spot? Is the horse using monocular or binocular vision right now? Are you moving in a way that creates confusing or threatening visual signals? When you approach a horse from the side, speak to it so it knows you're coming. When you stand in front of a horse, remember it can't see you clearly and move slowly. When you ask a horse to move towards something new, give it time to lower its head and use binocular vision. When you work with a horse, expose it to experiences from both sides so both eyes learn. These aren't complicated techniques, they're just awareness. Once you understand how horses see, you'll naturally move differently around them. You'll be safer, they'll be calmer, and your connection will deepen. because you're finally working with their visual reality instead of against it. Horses aren't mysterious or unpredictable, they're just seeing a different world than we are. And when we make the effort to understand their perspective, everything becomes clearer, for them and for us. If you found this deep dive into equine vision helpful, give this video a like and share it with other horse lovers. Subscribe to Within Horses for more insights into how horses think, feel, and experience the world. And let me know in the comments, have you ever had a moment where understanding your horse's vision changed how you worked with them? Thank you for watching. Until next time, see the world through your horse's eyes.